Now, in a setback to WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange, Britain's Supreme Court today upheld his extradition to Sweden to face trial in the case of sexual assault. The 40-year-old Assange has spent the better part of last 2 years fighting attempts to send him to Sweden, where he is accused of sex crimes. Australian-born Assange denied wrongdoing and has refused to go to Sweden, questioning the validity of the European arrest warrant under which his extradition was sought.
Assange's lawyers claimed they didn't have enough time to go through the judgment. Assange has been fighting attempts to extradite him from the UK to Sweden. The whistleblower has denied the charges and has been fighting his deportation, saying he won't get a fair trial in Sweden. Well, the Supreme Court was Assange's final hope against being deported to Sweden on 2 separate cases of rape and sexual assault filed in August 2010. Since then, the 40-year-old Australian has been through several legal battles. Well, Julian Assange has been living under restrictions on his movement for 540 days now. Assange's lawyers have argued that the Swedish prosecutor who issued that arrest warrant against him was not a valid judicial authority. Well, Assange has called the case politically motivated by the US to bring him to the country. This after WikiLeaks, the company that Julian Assange started, leaked thousands of classified documents and cables related to the Afghan and Iraq wars, which proved to be embarrassing for Washington.
We do know he can challenge this order. He could also be looking to move the European Court of Human Rights, which will then have a 14-day period to indicate whether or not it's going to accept the case. Remember, he's not been charged in Sweden either, but faces questioning because of these allegations of rape and sexual abuse.
Julian Assange wasn't in court today when the judgment was passed rejecting his appeal against the extradition to Sweden. Now, it's not over yet. He's now got a 14-day extradition stay whilst his legal team are going to be appealing against some of the points that were raised in the judgment. They want the case reopened, saying they haven't had a chance to respond to some of those points that were raised. So after that, if that fails, you could see Julian Assange on a plane being sent to Sweden to face questioning over those sexual assault charges. It's very likely, though, that you are going to see his legal team taking this fight even further to the European Court of Human Rights. A real sense today amongst his supporters that have turned out that this isn't just a loss for Julian Assange, but for the British justice system as a whole.
The majority has concluded that the Swedish public prosecutor was a judicial authority within the meaning of both the Framework Decision and the Extradition Act. It follows that the request for Mr. Assange's extradition has been lawfully made, and his appeal against extradition is accordingly dismissed.